As the sun began to set over the ancient city of Jerusalem, the streets filled with pilgrims preparing for the Passover feast. The air carried the scent of roasted lamb and freshly baked leavened bread. It was a night of remembrance. A night Israel had celebrated for generations, but this night would be different. This night would change the world. Earlier that day, Jesus had sent 2 of his disciples into the city with specific instructions. "Go into the city," he told them, "and you will meet a man carrying a jar of water. Follow him. Tell the owner of the house, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" Everything happened just as he said. In a large upper room, furnished and ready, preparations were made. The table was set. The lamps were lit. The 12 gathered with him. Among them were Peter, bold and passionate; John, the beloved disciple; Thomas, the questioner; and Judas Iscariot, quiet, watchful. Jesus knew. He knew what this night would bring. Before the meal began, something unexpected happened. Jesus rose from the table. He removed his outer garment, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. The disciples watched in confusion. Then, one by one, he began to wash their feet. In that culture, washing feet was the job of the lowest servant. Roads were dusty. Sandals were open. Feet were dirty. But their master knelt before them. When he came to Peter, Peter pulled back. "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied gently, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," Peter protested, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." Peter's tone changed instantly. "Then, Lord, not just my feet but my hands and my head as well." Jesus smiled. "Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you." A heavy silence fell over the room. He was speaking of Judas. When he finished, he said, "Do you understand what I have done for you? I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." The King of Heaven had taken the place of a servant. As they reclined at the table and began to eat, Jesus grew troubled in spirit. "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples froze. Whispers filled the room. "Surely not I, Lord. Is it me? Who could it be?" John leaned closer to Jesus and asked quietly, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I will give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." He dipped the bread and handed it to Judas Iscariot. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Jesus said softly, "What you are about to do, do quickly." Judas rose from the table and stepped into the night. The door closed behind him, and it was dark. After Judas left, Jesus took bread in his hands. He gave thanks. He broke it and gave it to his disciples. "Take and eat, this is my body, given for you." The disciples looked at the broken bread in silence. Then he took the cup. Again, he gave thanks and offered it to them. "Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." They did not yet understand, but they would. The bread was no longer just bread. The cup was no longer just wine. This was the beginning of what believers today call communion, a sacred remembrance of sacrifice. In that quiet upper room in Jerusalem, the new covenant was being established. After the meal, Jesus spoke again. "Tonight, all of you will fall away because of me." Peter shook his head immediately. "Even if all fall away, I never will." Jesus looked at him with compassion. "Truly I tell you, this very night, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter insisted, "Even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you." The others said the same. But Jesus knew. He always knew. When they had finished eating, they sang a hymn together, likely one of the traditional Passover psalms. Their voices rose softly into the night air. Then they left the upper room. They walked through the narrow streets of Jerusalem toward the Mount of Olives. Toward a garden called Gethsemane, the moonlight stretched long shadows ahead of them, The weight of heaven's plan pressed heavily on Jesus' heart. The cross was now only hours away. The Last Supper was more than a farewell meal. It was a lesson in humility, a revelation of betrayal, a prophecy of denial, the institution of communion, and the unfolding of God's redemption plan. In that upper room, love knelt with a towel. Grace broke bread. Mercy poured out a cup. And though the disciples did not yet understand, the Lamb of God was preparing to be sacrificed for the sins of the world. The next day would bring suffering, but this night revealed the depth of His love. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more content that explores these profound moments in history. We'll see you in the next video.